Good on them.
Yeah, speaking of Activision, I think we can just jump into the next article real quick.
Oh, baby.
Um, this one's pretty interesting. I liked it. Just it's kind of such a troll, and I
Yeah.
love it when developers start trolling their player pool. I don't think I want to go through the entire thing.
Mm,
It's kind of lengthy, and we have a better article coming up that Kyle wants to go through.
baby.
And I kind of want to keep us under an hour. We're looking at weird timing right now, but anyways, so this is from IGN. This is Rebecca Valentine. We've covered, I don't even know how many times, but so many times. The title of
Mm.
the article is Activision secretly turned off skill based matchmaking in Call of Duty as an experiment, and the players hated it. So, for those of you that
Ooh.
don't know what skill based matchmaking is, most games you have, well, most games nowadays, I think it was originally invented by Microsoft. They called it True Skill 2.0, is what we're currently on. The first time I saw it implemented was Halo 5 or Halo 4. But the concept is that uh, you have two different ranks. You have your in-game rank where you win and lose, and it depends on like a number going up and down that you can visually see. And then you have a hidden skill-based rank, which is basically programmed to figure out how you play. And once they understand how you play, they match you up with other people with similar skill-based matchmaking ranks, so that it becomes a sweat fest, like out of control sweat fest. So let's get into it. Rebecca starts off with the article by saying, pop into the Call of Duty subreddit on any given day, and you're almost certainly going to trip over a few people complaining about skill based matchmaking and how it's ruining Call of Duty. But according to a recent study by developer Activision, getting rid of SBMM, skill based matchmaking, I feel like it's easier to say skill based matchmaking than it is SBMM,
Yeah.
would be far, far worse for the game as a whole, and it's got the data to prove it. In a 25-page white paper published last week, Activision reveals that it actually conducted an experiment in 2023's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, where it reduced skill-based matchmaking for some of its players, resulting in more players quitting games or not coming back to the game for more sessions. Okay, this is one of the things that people don't really understand what the point of skill-based matchmaking is, and it infuriates me because all I want to do is win, right?
Yeah.
So basically what happens is they try to stack the team up that's been winning the most in a row against a team that's better than them. Now, skill-based matchmaking works really, really well with a very large population of like active players. But if you don't have a large active population, you get a situation where you are the only good person on your team and everybody around you is trash. And then the other team has all not as good as you players, but definitely better than all your teammates. So it's just completely one sided games and it swings back and forth like a seesaw. It's not fun. But if you have a massive population where there's more people around the same rank as you, it's good. That's like the only time it's
Yeah.
good. That is the fundamental issue with skill-based matchmaking.
Mm.
Um, and it's one of the reasons why people come back. Like I have a rule, you know this, and I kind of troll myself. I don't get off on a loss.
Nope.
I do not
Got
go to
you win.
bed taking an L.
Got you win,
But
baby.
if I've won 6 in a row, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
playing, you're just like, yo, dude, I'm not gonna get off. I mean, I'm on a win streak,
Yeah.
right?
I'm chilling.
And yeah, and then you lose. And then you're like, well, I'm not going to get off on a loss. And then you lose again. It's like, why do you keep losing? Why are the games not
Oh,
fair anymore?
yeah.
And it's because you won 6 in a row early in the day. And now you're playing again, and you got more people like at night playing than they normally would during the day. So it's like, okay, well, they now have people to stack against you to even out your skill based matchmaking back down low.
Yeah.
And it's super messed up and very frustrating. It's almost like elo hell that people talk about in ranks, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Yeah,
Man.
I know I said I was going to go through this quick, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah. The 50
Just wanted to
50,
give my
dude.
2 cents.
It's the 50
Yeah,
50, dude. Trying to
I'm
get
one
you.
of those nerds. Yeah, they want you at 50% win rate,
Yep.
50% lose rate
That's the goal.
constantly.
That's the
And the
goal.
idea is like win one, lose one, win one, lose one, so that you always crave more wins. That's why you
Yeah.
keep coming back to the
Keep
game.
you
You
on
come
the
back to the
game.
game, live service game, you keep spending more battle pass, keep buying more merch, all this kind of crap. You go to the tournaments, like
Yeah.
trying to hook you, dude. But if you grew up before skill-based matchmaking, that stuff doesn't work on you. You just get
Yeah.
mad.
Just like,
It's
well,
the young kids that are used to it. Like, this is how gaming's always been. It's like, no.
it's like,
No, I always want to win, dude. I don't want this participation trophy shit. Anyways, I kind of went on a rant there. Let me get back to it. Matches made in heaven. Currently, Activision says the way matchmaking works in Call of Duty is by taking into account a number of factors. Top priority is player connection, quality, and the time it takes to enter a match. Oh yeah, that's the other one. They want you to enter the match as quickly as possible, obviously. But other factors include skill, platform, recent maps, and modes, and other things are considered too. And skill itself is a complex equation that takes into account individuals' match total kills, kill and death ratios, and kill deaths by enemy ratios to ensure players can't drop their skill levels on purpose by self-killing. The one thing that always pissed me off about first-person shooters skill-based matchmaking is they care more about your kills than anything else.
Yeah, individual
And
performance.
they do not care about team performance because like I personally try to play in a way that when I make decisions, it's for the betterment of my teammates so that we can win as a team.
Right.
I don't care about my stats. If I get that W, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
if you're training people to turn off their mics to not help their teammates, you're basically making everything a free for all.
Yeah.
And
It's
that
true.
is not fun. That's
That
one of
ain't
the reasons I
fun.
hated Halo 5, dude.
Fun team
It's like,
games. Dude.
oh, I can't make it to Onyx rank. Well, you're worried about winning. Stop worrying about winning. Only go for kills.
Yeah.
Ignore your teammates. Don't help them. Main slay.
Play like that,
That's
and there you go.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing in Call of Duty. But that's the thing. They don't play this way in the CDL.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. You watch com matches.
because
It's a different thing.
yeah,
It's a different world.
yeah. It's a completely different world, and that's why like you get these matchmaking kids that go to CDL and they get cooked. It's because it's not
Yeah.
the same game.
Yeah.
You're playing differently. They're playing for wins. You're playing for kills. You're baiting your teammates. You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It's like, gotta play as a unit, man.
Yeah.
That's why the teams are so good, because they actually like strategize and
Mm-hmm.
want to play for
100%.
each other.
All right, so skill levels are recalculated after every match, and Activision says it's constantly trying to find a happy balance of ensuring players aren't seeing wild swings in where the game thinks that they're at, but also adjusts quickly if a player is having an off day or trying out a new loadout. In short, its skill calculations and matchmaking are finicky processes, but Activision is doing the best it can. In the study earlier this year, Activision ran a deprioritized skill test where the developers decreased skills importance in matchmaking in the algorithm, but did not shut it off entirely. It ran the test for 50% of its North American player base for a 2 week period in early 2024. I don't think 2 weeks is long enough, by the way. And the results are pretty conclusive. All right, so you want to pull up that graph?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to go into it.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of
Really
agree with
hard to
you.
read.
I don't think 2 weeks is a significant enough subset. Personally,
No.
I feel like you should probably do longer tests or shut it off entirely. Like I don't know why we're doing this wean off, but
Yeah,
yeah. There's I feel like there's probably different ways I could have done this to make it seem more definitive, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying.
Yes. All right, so in Figure 3, we can observe the percentage difference in the number of players returning after 14 days between the treatment and control groups. With deprioritized skill, returning player rate was down significantly for 90% of the players. The 10% of the highest skilled players came back in increased numbers, but in aggregate, we see meaningfully fewer players coming back to the game. This effect may appear small, but this change was observable within the duration of the test. This will compound over time, just like interest, and will have a meaningful impact on our player population. This is a concern for all players, including the top 10%, as if this pattern is allowed to continue, players will exit the game in increased numbers. Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. Real live service, battle royale game, that's what happens. Eventually, a top 10% player will become a top 20% player and eventually a top 30% player until only the very best players remain playing the game. That is 100% what happened with Halo 5, by the way.
I was gonna say that sounds like Halo.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
Yeah, that's literally what Halo is now. Those original top players will become increasingly likely to not return to the game. Ultimately, this will result in a worse experience for all players, as there will be fewer and fewer players available to play with. That is a fundamental. I don't think this has anything to really do with the study of like people start leaving, so more people start leaving. That's what like. Of course, that's how
Yeah.
arena shooters are played. That's what happens. I think it is cheap to say it's because we turn off skill-based matchmaking because Halo 5 never turned it off and people stopped playing.
Yeah.
That's just And it became
It's
like what I said earlier. If you don't
yeah,
have the population, it's not going to be fun.
yeah. It's dude. It's just so true. Like I think you're right on the money. It's like it depends on the quality of the game at the end of the day. And just for
Yeah.
turning off skill based matchmaking, that's not. I mean, it's just not a. I don't think it's a factor as much as they claim it to be. Because yeah, if the game's just not improving or there's just things fundamentally wrong with it, it's like
Yes.
people just aren't going to play. And no matter what
Also,
you do.
what was the so this is North American player base for a 2 week period in early 2024. What 2 week period? Because that matters. Was it the first 2 weeks of January when
Yeah,
people were on vacation
it's important. Yeah.
and then they went back to school, which is a large population of the COD base is a younger population? Or what? Was it spring break? People going out to the beach doing what they want to do in mid-March? Like,
Yeah, it
was
plays a
it
factor for sure, right? Like,
yeah, like what 2 weeks here? Like there are too many. That's why I was saying 2 weeks isn't enough time, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree. Like, but yeah, depending on those weeks, like I said, it could be a vacation week, and may have a rise of players, may have
Yeah.
less players. It's just yeah, dude. What are we doing in Activision? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing, Mike?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
No idea. But hey, how about I finish up these last two paragraphs real quick, and then we'll move on to the final article real quick. While single-digit percentages might not seem like a lot given the sheer volume of participants over a relatively short period of time, this is a fairly significant difference in the drop-off. What's more, Activision expects that, based on other studies it has done over time, this would compound. If left unchecked, the lowest skilled players would disappear at higher volumes. That's a fact. That is one thing that I can agree with. Skill-based matchmaking basically means that the lower skilled players can basically get the best teammates, so that they stick around, they get a win every now and then. Meaning only players of higher skill levels would remain. Yeah, maybe that sounds great for the higher skilled players. It does, but there's so few. But in smaller player pools, those who had previously been mid-level would now be the lowest skilled and would themselves start to drop off at higher rates. Basically, it's bad news for player retention all around, and retention is necessary to keep an online game alive. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Spitting
that's basically
facts.
what I'm saying too. So there are skill issues, apparently. The paper details other data as well, including a similar survey where Activision tightened the skill constraints in matchmaking and saw inverse results. Higher skilled players dropped off at higher rates. Yep, but lower
Mm.
skilled players stuck around more frequently. It also saw a higher rate of blowouts when one team wins a match with a significant higher score than the losing team. I don't know why I read that in parentheses. Just reading to read at this point. When skill was deprioritized, which players find less fun and lower kill per minute rates with lower skilled players. Basically, when skill based matchmaking was turned down low, the vast majority of the players had less fun and didn't come back to play the game more as frequently as when skill-based matchmaking was on. So if you crank skill-based matchmaking on, you notice that all the best players get all the worst teammates and they have a tough time, and that's not fun because it
Yep.
feels like you're sweating your face off every time you play the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to get in, just chill, man.
Yeah.
Just want to chill.
Sure.
Just want to shoot some bots, and it's okay. Sometimes you're the bot. Just get better.
Yeah.
Just get better. That's the thing.
This thing is a
So
podcast. What do we think for this question, though? Is SBMM good or bad for FPS casual playlists? That's the key
casual,
word.
bad,
Casual playlist. That's what I'm
bad.
saying. Terrible.
100% bad.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Majority. Terrible.
Yeah. Everybody that said good, you're just bad at the game. And it's okay. Like no, it's seriously okay. I play Halo 2 with like some of the best Halo 2 players ever, and these
Yeah.
kids smoke me.
Mm,
It's not close. I get destroyed.
yeah.
But if I go play like in casual playlists where people don't play as much Halo 2, I'm gonna smoke them. It's not
I'm
gonna be
gonna
close.
dominate. The audience is different.
Yeah.
Dominate.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. You can't it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just get better. You
That's what
want
I'm
to
saying. Like, look,
get better, or take your L's and move on with your life.
if you want to sweat, dude, go to a competitive playlist. Whether it's like actual SBMM and you can try and improve. Like, hey, you want to sweat, do that. But yeah, I think casual playlist. Yeah, I'm just flavor, just leave it alone. Just let the DJs be DJs. Let's go crazy. That's just me though, man. Me though.
Yeah.